I feel great. I think it went really well, and I was really proud of it. I was really happy that there was such a full crowd in the audience. It was like totally packed and sold out apparently, and very, very happy to be part of it.
Our first performer drove down from LA. He is a VAMP first timer. Please give it up for Alex Stein.
I am obsessed with the Iditarod, a 1,049-mile sled dog race that's run annually from Anchorage to Nome, Alaska. A few years ago, I made an award-winning documentary about the race, and for the past 5 years, I have co-hosted the world's most popular Iditarod podcast, which does not deserve that response because it's a very small niche. Still, I had never driven a dog team, so my friend Robert, who co-hosts the Iditarod podcast with me, said to me last year, "Come up to my kennel. We'll put you behind a sled for a few miles and you can try driving my dog team." And I said yes, because I'm an idiot. And he said, "We'll give you 8 dogs and go on a little easy 7-mile loop." And I said, "Great," because again, I'm an idiot. It was a beautiful day, 10 below zero, but sunny enough that it still seemed warm. Things started well. There is nothing on earth as joyful as a sled dog when it first starts to run. And after a few miles, I thought to myself, I can do this. I've already gone 5 miles. It wouldn't be that big a deal to go another 1,044 miles and complete the Iditarod. And then we got to this hill, and it's a small hill. It doesn't have a name, but I like to call it Hubris Hill because I was starting to get cocky. And coming down the hill, the sled starts gaining on the last set of 2 dogs. And I started worrying that the sled was going to hit the dogs and kill them. And my intention was to just tap the brake. But part of my brain started yelling at me, "You're going to kill these dogs, and they're serious athletes, and each of them is worth more than your car, plus they are cute dogs, you monster." So I slammed on the brake, and the sled tipped over on its side, and I fell onto the hard-packed snow and ice at a very weird angle. And Robert tried to get me to stand, but I couldn't because I was in too much pain. And I remember thinking, I am just going to live here from now on in the snow where it's 10 below zero. And it literally took 20 minutes for me to be able to stand up. And it was clear that my shoulder was very badly dislocated. It took an hour to get me, the dogs, the sled, Robert, and his snow machine back to his kennel. Meanwhile, every muscle in or connected to my arm was spasming. Back at the kennel, Robert says to me, "You know, I have some EMT training. I could probably pop your shoulder back into joint for you." And I look over, and he is watching YouTube videos on his phone for how to pop shoulders back into joint. Spoiler alert, no! Don't ever do that. 3 hours later, we arrived at the ER, conveniently located 50 miles away, and they gave me rock star death drugs. 2 doses of fentanyl, the drug that killed Prince, and 4 doses of propofol, the drug that killed Michael Jackson. And even with all that, it still took 2 doctors and 3 nurses 45 minutes to get the shoulder back into place because, oh yeah, I also broke the top of my humerus bone, which prevented the shoulder from realigning properly. And by the time they popped the shoulder back, it had been out of joint for 7 hours, which, in case you're wondering, is more than enough time to destroy every muscle that had been spasming for every second of those 7 hours. I know. Despite all of that, I was still confident that I would recover quickly. I thought I'd be totally healed in a month, 6 weeks tops. But that didn't happen. And 4 months in, I had only recovered about 25% of my strength and mobility. And my orthopedic surgeon said to me, "You just might never recover." Sometimes that happens because he's a dick. And that was the only time in this whole process that I got depressed because I like my arm and my hand. So I started spending 60 to 90 minutes a day doing exercises and stretching. The pain was off the charts 24/7 for months. They gave me a prescription for opioids, but they literally didn't do anything for my pain. If I was lucky, they'd knock me out, but half the time they wouldn't. So I got a medical marijuana card, which required going into an office where there was a sign on the wall that said, "Please take your interview with the physician seriously." And I did, because I'm a Virgo, and we are notoriously the most logical and organized sign of the zodiac. So I came in with my x-rays and medical records and a statement from the ER doctor, and I showed them to the medical marijuana doctor, and he just smiled and said, "I don't need any of that." And I said, "Okay, what do you need?" And he said, $40 cash. From there, I spent thousands of dollars in doctor visit copays, physical therapy, CBD oil, which works so much better than opioids, some medical marijuana. The first time I went to a dispensary, I said, "Well, what dosage should I use?" And the guy said, "You just have to experiment," which I guess proves everyone I went to high school with was right. Not to mention acupuncture, fire cupping, Reiki healing, and even cryotherapy, where they put you in a container that is 200 degrees below zero for 2 minutes. Even though I don't necessarily even believe in any of those things. But then again, I'm a Virgo, so I don't necessarily not believe in those things either. I don't consider myself that dedicated, but sometimes in life there's really no choice. So I have spent the last 17 months working really hard to rebuild the muscles in my arm. And I had no extra energy, so I had to cut out all drama and nonsense in my life. And I live in Los Angeles, which is the world's capital of drama and nonsense. One of my dad's favorite jokes when I was growing up was this. A man goes to a doctor and he says, "Doc, I can only lift my arm this far." And the doctor says, "How high could you lift it before?" And he goes, "This high." And that would be so impressive if I had hurt my left arm. But I didn't. I hurt my right arm. And even today, 17 months later, I can only lift it this high. And by the way, that hurts like hell. There's an old joke that Eskimos have 50 different words for snow. I feel like I have 100 different words for different kinds of pain. Now listen, some of you, especially you native Californians, may believe that you can just manifest change in the world by declaring your intentions out loud. But I'm a Virgo, and we're more logical than that. We don't believe in magic, even though deep down we really, really want to. We believe in things that you can prove. But then again, 4 months after my injury, I couldn't move my arm enough to change the radio station in my car, which literally requires lifting it 1 inch and moving it forward 3 inches, and I just didn't have the muscles to be able to do that. And now I have fought through pain every day till the point where I've regained 90% of my mobility and over 50% of my strength. And that is damn near magic as far as I can tell. I have spent the last 17 months letting people heal me without touching me, light fires in glass cups and place them on my skin, and put me in cabinets where it's 200 degrees below zero. So maybe, just maybe, manifesting something by declaring your intention isn't so crazy after all. I mean, it's worth a shot, right? So find people of San Diego and the Whistle Stopians? I don't know. Please join me. Add your intention to mine. Harness the mighty powers of the universe right here, right now, to manifest it, because I declare to you my intention, and feel free to declare it back to me, that I will recover absolutely 100%. Thank you.
That is VAMP first timer Alex Stein.